Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gator Light, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gator Light hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach, a trip to the state fair, and a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now,
hey, coaches, welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so excited you decided to join us. Before we jump into today's podcast, I'd like to make a shout out to our sponsors. First of all, Game Changer. They are, I think, one of the number one streaming things that, don't miss out. It's an auto stream. You can set it up. You can use it for practice. It keeps real-time scores. It captures all the highlights you'll ever need. So go over and check it out at gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Also, go over and check out Dr. Dish, the number one shooting machine on the market. Can't wait to get back into the gym, get the boys on the shooting machine. Mention Coach Collins and Coach Unplugged, and they'll take really good care of you. And last but not least, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. We're weeks away from the launch. I will get more specific and talk about that kind of stuff as we get a little bit closer, what's coming with that. But if you're thinking you want to get in a low monthly price, I would do it ASAP. I'm just telling you. All right, let's head off to the podcast.
I have developed an approach on shooting called field goal progressions. And then we have one on free throw progressions, because what fundamentals are the most important to teach? That's the next question that comes up. What fundamentals should we focus on? Well, those that are related to winning and losing, the fundamentals that are related to winning and losing are, number one, field goal and free throw shooting percentages. So shooting is the number one fundamental, because you have to learn how to shoot, but you got to stop. I got to drive your shooting percentages down if I'm on defense. So the first thing as a player and the first thing as a coach you got to focus on is, how do you drive your shooting percentages up, field goal and free throws, and how do you drive the other opponent's field goal percentage down? Pretty hard to defend a free throw. You just have to not foul as much. And that's one of our team goals that we have. So, focus on the fundamentals of shooting. You cannot, I tell our players and I tell coaches around the world, you cannot shoot too much. But you have to factor in the teaching part of it. Here's the mantra that goes with that. Game shots at game spots at game speed is the goal. Now, these players were warming up and they weren't really at that point yet, but I didn't see one of them shoot a game shot at a game spot at game speed. Not one. Now, I'm not getting on them, but that's very typical. So you got to have a method of master teaching shooting where they end up with the goal of game shots at game spots at game speed. And then a progression, a sequential, progressive way to get to that point. to get to that point. Okay, so that's one of the parts of becoming a master teacher. Another thing you will see out here is your terminology is very important. I think being a master teacher is focusing on what I call critical cues. Critical cues. Okay, I need one of you up here to demonstrate just a minute. Out in front of us here. One player. Okay, let's take a fundamental skill. Let's take ball protection. If I tell her to protect the ball the best way you can on offense, what will you do? Okay, she'll be something like that. Now, if you really want to protect it, one way you would protect it would be triple threat position. Get down to triple threat position. Now, all of the terminology that I use will be prefaced with the word quick. This is what I would call an offensive quick stance. Get in it. Triple threat. Offensive quick stance. Now, little things make a big difference. I want her ready to pass, shoot, or dribble instantly, so I'll have her bring the ball here. Because you cannot hold the ball down there, because a good defender will go like that. How are you going to get up to the shot? You got to get up in triple threat shooting. You got to have a wrinkled wrist when you're in triple threat position. You can't be down here or down here, any that position. You got to be ready to strike immediately with that shot. Now she's in triple threat position because she has her elbow in alignment with the ball and her hand. She's got a wrinkled wrist. That little thing. Triple threat. That's a critical cue. Wrinkled wrist, ready to shoot, pass, or drive. Now she thinks she's going to die in that position, but you got to be able to settle in that position, arch your back and settle down there, and you should be able to stay there for at least an hour. As long as you want to be there. As long as you want to be there. She's got a nice wide base. She's got her shooting foot slightly ahead. Little things. All right, relax. Now if I say rebounding or a real ball sureness situation, now how would you protect it? We call this probably the only thing in basketball that I developed and invented. It's called chinning the basketball. So when you chin the basketball in a rebound situation or there are other situations we'll show you, it has to be a very specific technique. Use critical cues to talk about it. First, I don't like to swear in front of players and coaches, but make a football out of it. Now I just swore, but some of you didn't realize that I swore. Make a football out of it. So you really squeeze it from the side. What are the critical cues? Fingers up, elbows out and up. Fingers up, elbows out. Now stay in that position. Squeeze it. Okay? Now, will that protect the ball and make it a sure situation in everything you got to face? One of the things you got to have is these little guards are going to come, and they're going to come up like this. Now get it back in there, and you can hold it. It's not going to kill you. And the other thing is you might get the bigger players coming from behind, so you may have to have a quick turn away from pressure. I come to get the ball, you may have to turn away. Now they have stay down and we'll watch that and see how you can hold that. So that's chinning the basketball, protecting ball sureness, ball protection. Gets it away from the little guards, but also the big players coming from behind. In that position, she should never lose the ball. But now, they've added this rule that you have, they worry about in basketball, concussions now in basketball. So they have this striking rule with the elbow. So you've got to add to that, not only chinning the basketball, but you got to turn away from the defense. Turn away from pressure. If someone's coming this way, you can turn away from pressure and protect it with it. If it's from behind, you may have to turn this way away from pressure. You got to add that as the rules change. So you got to adapt to the rules. Now those are ways to emphasize little things so she will get better and better little by little. Now let me have the ball. All right, so you can practice that. We'll show you a couple little drills so you can practice that, but you can go up and get the ball 2 and 2, jump from 2 feet with 2 hands, go up and get it and chin the basketball. So you go get the ball, 2 and 2, and notice little things. A lot of rebounders will not rebound with their elbows straight. They'll not go up to the peak of their jump. So go up to the peak of your jump. She does a nice job of that. And then be able to rebound out of your area and keep your balance. Be able to turn and face me. Okay, turn and face me. Just get in the habit of turning. After you get a rebound, turn. Okay? Now that's a rear turn. Use a front turn this time. Okay, get it? Okay, front turn. All right, so you can sit down now. Thank you. All right, now that tells you part of being a master teacher is focusing on those little things. So examine all your fundamental skills, and I'm going to cover some of those fundamental skills, but you really have to, I got to tell you a little story about how I came upon that. I had my first college basketball team. I was coaching my first team, and so I thought, well, I thought about what's a better way to protect the ball, and I didn't know about chinning at all that time, and everybody was rebounding up in here, and they were doing all sorts of things, moving the ball around, and I thought, I think we can do this. So I had my first college team, I had a 250-pound freshman, and he had his head shaved before it was fashionable to have your head shaved. And in the state of Washington where I coached, and where I coach now, is we have a couple state institutions, mental institutions, and we have the state prison. And the state prison is in a place called Walla Walla, Washington. Walla Walla, Washington. This kid came from Walla Walla High School. Well, when I came and I saw him the first time, I got the job late in the summer and came to the school. My assistant recruited him. I saw him, met him for the first time. I really didn't know whether he came out of that high school or whether he came out of the state prison. He just looked like a convict. I'm not kidding you. He was an ugly mother. He was a big, massive guy that would like to eat 2 meals at every time we went on training table. So he was a closet heavy eater. Anyway, so I got him up in front of everybody, just like you did just a minute ago. His name was Doug, and I said, Doug. And I didn't even tell him what this was or anything. I said, and I chinned the ball right in front of him. I said, Doug, take a swipe at the ball. No, Coach, I can't do that. I said, Doug, take a swipe at the ball. No, Coach, I can't do that. I said, why? Because I'll kill you. Well, you got a point there. We don't want to do that, but just swipe at the ball. So old Doug, he comes like this, and he goes like, whoa, right? I'm not kidding you. That was before space travel was invented, but it was invented that day. I took off, and I don't know how high I went because I saw stars, so I must have been up there pretty high. My glasses flew one way, I went the other way. But you know, the thing I remember about that, years and years ago, I remember I could feel the basketball when I came back down. And I felt my feet hit the floor again, and I said, whoa, you got something there. I couldn't see a thing. I kind of wandered over to the bench. Okay, let's run the drill now. And assistants took over for about 5 minutes. But that's how I invented the idea of chinning the basketball for ball sureness and protection. And I think it really works, but now the rules have changed a little bit and evolved. Now you have to add quick turns out of that. So I preface all of the moves in basketball with the word quick. Why? I call it a quick turn. I call it a quick stance. I call it a quick everything, because Basketball is a game of balance and quickness. Okay, so now a couple other things. I believe you have to be a good learner, coaches and players. I give this to our players and our coaches, this book. And I didn't write any of this stuff, but I have some things for learning that you've got to be a constant learner. Outliers. How many of you have read Outliers? By Malcolm Gladwell. If you don't, you're not a coach unless you read this book. Now, what does it tell players and coaches? Outliers says that basically, I have a little handout I give to our players. It says, time over talent. Time over talent. Write that down. It's very important. Time over talent. This is about learning. It means this, that who your parents are is only about 30% of the picture. You inherit about 30% of your potential. But 70% is time that you put in and what you're doing. And he says this, it takes approximately 10,000 hours to reach your potential in anything. For a coach, 10,000 hours. For a player, 10,000 hours to reach your potential. Are you willing to go down that road? I'm not saying you don't have to reach 10,000 hours. I break this down to our players. That's 1,000 hours a year for 10 years. 1,000 hours a year for 10 years is 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. How many of you work on your game 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, year round? Now, I'm not saying you have to be there, but you got to go in that direction. Now, there are a few of our college players that have reached that. We have a point guard from Toronto, Canada, and I would guess he's close to his 10,000 hours because he loves the game. He loves the game. What can you, another coaching lesson, what can you do today to inspire and motivate your kids? Inspire and motivate your kids. Unfortunately, these players we work with, over half of the players in America are from single family homes or worse. They may not have the family stability and values that we would like. What does that mean for us as coaches? You got to be their mentors. You have to be their surrogate parents a lot of time. You know that. It's a tougher job coaching than ever before. And you got to find a way to develop the best way you can, no matter what your family situation is. I think I've had a pretty successful run as a master teacher and coach. My mother died when I was 7 days old of childbirth. My dad committed suicide when I was 4. Think that was a good start? Not too good. I was headed for an orphanage, and my aunt and uncle said, well, can't let that happen. Come and live with us after I bounced around a while. Is that pretty good? Yes. Have something. Have a home. My dad was an alcoholic. My uncle was an alcoholic. My aunt was an emotional abuser. Not a great start in life. And there's a lot of kids out there that have worse stories than that. I was pretty fortunate because I had great master teachers and coaches that became my family. That's why sports is so important to me. And it's more important than ever before to a lot of kids. We have to make sports better. We have to make sports so they learn. And that's the next one I give you. I'm going to give you another book that I haven't written. Amazingly, I've only written about 40 books. But this book is called You Haven't Taught Until They Have Learned. This is for you coaches primarily. But it's a main primary book for a group called Be Like Coach. Be Like Coach. Go to our website, belikecoach.com. We are a national group with the intention of evolutionizing youth sport, taking it in a better direction. We've been working for 8 years. It's patterned off the teachings and, more important, the player learnings of John Wooden. You haven't taught until they have learned. The authors are Nader, N-A-T-E-R, Swen Nader, N-A-T-E-R. And it's a good book for players to read too. It's really pretty good on how you can be a better learner, how you can get more out of basketball and life. And the other author is Gallimore, G-A-L-L-I-M-O-R-E. Nader and Gallimore. Swen Nader played for John Wooden. Interesting story. A native of the Scandinavian states came over to the United States in high school, was a soccer player, 6'11" soccer player from the Netherlands. Came over, went to a junior college where a former UCLA player was coaching.